What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, making their debut on the channel tonight, we have Theater of Tragedy. Yes, indeed. How about that? Theater of Tragedy making their debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Animal Soul, and this is actually one of Animal Soul's 3 prioritized requests for the month of October for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, here you go, Animal Soul. Hope you enjoy the show. Animal Soul wanted to see me react to this. It is Theater of Tragedy with a tune called Lorelei. Now, have I heard this song before? I mean, there's no mention of this being a cover, but I mean, there is a song by Styx called Lorelei, so I know that song. But there's no mention of this being a cover, so I'm going to assume I have not heard this song before. I'm going to assume that this has never been heard by these ears before. Then again, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me, this is that song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Christy Pop, okay? And the video has 259,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Theater of Tragedy, Lorelei. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this!
Och hjärtligt välkommen till 17-årsbursdagen med Heretic!
Was it lost too fast, or a facade? A serenade, siren to lure sounds not to court me. A mannered, yet the sweetest Colleen. Certus did stop me, unveil meekly, like pristine Lorelei. could not. For
A lot of firepower on that stage. They got a good full sound, and I can see why. 2 guitars, bass, keyboards, and drummer. So you got 5 instrumentalists plus 2 vocalists. So there's a lot of artillery on that stage. There absolutely is. I always like it when bands have, you know, a lot of members on the band, as long as it all contributes, as long as they're all participating and they're all contributing to the sound. I have seen bands where you have a keyboardist on stage who does absolutely nothing, and I'm just like, why are you even bothering to be on stage? You know, it doesn't make any sense. They'll play like, you know, 2 chords, and that's it. That's it for the entire show. And I'm like, why bother? You know, that doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody's contributing. Everybody sounds good. Instrumentally, I got no issues with anything I'm hearing. Everything sounds good. Everything sounds full. Everything sounds accurate. Like, all the instruments are playing. They're playing chordal progressions, and they're playing notes that sound good. They all fit within the context of the song. And I don't hear anything from the instrumentation that is making me go, oh, what in the world? No, nothing like that. Everything sounds good across the board. Vocally, everything, it all makes sense. I wish she was a little more active, a little more, as far as participation goes. I wish she was being assigned more on the vocal lines, because she sounds really good. I like everything I'm hearing from her. His vocal delivery, I get it. It's that he is singing with pitch, yes, but it's a very gravelly pitch. All lower register. It makes sense. I've seen bands do this before. This is not my first time seeing a band that has that dual vocalist approach. Overall, it sounds solid. I have no complaints about anything I'm hearing, other than I wish personally we heard a little bit more from her. But, you know, looking at the song objectively, I don't hear anything that I would really try to improve upon. So it all sounds good. Let's keep going. Let's see how this finishes out.
Yes, adaptest and tricked. I call lot, 'cause for all I spaced.
Why is she? I'll never understand why vocalists do this. So I understand she's not singing. I absolutely get it. But here's my question.
For all yes, adaptest and tricked. I call lot.
Wouldn't that be a lot more effective if, I don't know, maybe, you know, just a thought, just an idea, maybe turn around 180 degrees and do that to the crowd rather than do that to your bass player? I mean, granted, that is stage interaction. I get it, but what a wasted opportunity to interact with the crowd, which, I'm going to be honest with you folks, if I have to choose between stage interaction and crowd interaction, I'm going to choose crowd interaction every single time. Every single time. What a wasted opportunity. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that. Why would you turn your back to the crowd when you could be turning and facing the crowd, doing that to the crowd, interacting with the crowd, and making the crowd feel like they're a part of the show? You see what I'm saying? I don't get that.
'Cause for all I spaced to behold the melody in the midst in a strangely casting my bouquet. The woman saw of faggot defeated the fire, illuminated my heart, quailing choir. Lorelei, try my loss to death. this, I can't dabble on forward. Talk the west, further leave, everything thine afterthought. Between nether and nether, thousand peerless phoenix. Critical most coffee, rather than the peevish prolix. Lorelei. Skyline lost to death. Lorelei. Skyline lost to death. Lorelei. 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 Lorelei.
I mean, it's solid. Like, they didn't do anything. Okay. Gotta be very careful with what I say here. Musically, instrumentally, songwriting, composition, arrangement, they didn't do anything wrong. Everything sounded just fine. It sounded solid across the board. But at the same time, there wasn't anything that really wowed me. There wasn't anything that made me go, oh my God. There wasn't anything there that, shocked me or amazed me or impressed me. But it was solid across the board. So I have really no complaints about the musicianship or about the songwriting or composition or arrangement at all. The live show, I mean, they did. I think they checked off all the boxes. I think they did, but I don't know. It just seems a little lackluster. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Theater of Tragedy with a tune called Lorelei. This was a request from Animal Soul, and this was actually one of Animal Soul's 3 prioritized requests for the month of October for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Animal Soul. Hope you enjoyed the show. Okay, let's just get to it. Let's get right to it here, and I'll explain everything, I promise. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that overall presentation a 6.7. Yep, 6.7. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 6.7. What does that mean? Well, a 6.7 would translate to a pretty good skill rating because overall, I think this was a pretty good presentation. It would also get 3 out of 5 stars and a B letter grade. That's B as in boy. Yeah, a B letter grade. So there you go, a 6.7, pretty good skill rating, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Okay, everything across the board, and I mean everything across the board, was solid. Okay, everything was fine. Everything was done pretty well. I got no complaints about anything that happened on the musicianship side, the songwriting side, the arrangement side, the execution side of the song. I got no issues with any of that. Okay, everything across the board was a solid job. There was nothing that wowed me. There was nothing that, made me feel amazed or impressed, or I didn't think anything was really all that outstanding, but everything across the board was absolutely solid, okay? From the songwriting standpoint, everything made sense. And from the arrangement standpoint, same thing. Everything made sense. all the voicing assignments made perfect sense. The chordal progression made sense. Melodic lines made sense. The split of the vocals made sense. Everything about the song just made sense. Everything sounded smooth. Everything sounded good across the board. Nothing great, but everything across the board was good. Everything was solid. This is how I'm coming up with a score in the 6s, okay? Now, the one thing I really did enjoy about the song was the chorus, and it had nothing to do with the chordal progression. It had to do with the feel. I'm glad that when they got into the chorus, they made the conscious decision to take the song into a halftime feel. I think that was very appropriate. I thought it was very well done. I thought it was smart. It helped break up the monotony of the song. Could they have stayed in straight time the entire song? Absolutely, they could have. Would it have worked? Yeah, absolutely, it would have worked. I think switching to the halftime feel was more effective. And they did it consistently. Every single time they went into the chorus, halftime feel. I think that made sense. I think that made perfect sense. And I'm glad they did it. It did show a little variety, which was nice. Trust me, it was nice. The overall, I would give the song, the musicianship, I would give it all about a 6.4, 6.5, somewhere in there. I think it was still a pretty good job overall, but I'm giving this a 6.7. What happened there? Well, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you already know what I'm gonna say. So say it with me, kids.
Sing it out one time.
A live show can help your score or it can hurt your score. Now, this did help. It did bring it up from like a 6.4, 6.5 range up to a 6.7. It did help. It just didn't do a whole lot. And you'll see what I mean when I get to this. You'll see why it didn't affect it more than others have. Okay, so let's go on the checklist, all right? Stage presence, yeah, check. They look like performers. They acted like performers. No problems there. Stage energy, check. Yeah, I'm giving it a check, but it's a weak check. There was some movement and motion happening on stage, not a lot. Now listen, I get it. It's a little bit of a smaller stage, and there is 7 of them taking up all that real estate. So I know it's a little crowded on there. I absolutely understand. But even then, there could have been a little bit more done on the stage energy front, especially from the musicians. The guitar player over on stage left, he did move a little bit forward and back, but that's about it. The guitar player over on stage right didn't move at all. Bass player didn't move at all. Keyboard player, he was trying to move a little bit. Granted, he's kind of a slave to his instruments. So there's not a whole lot he can do. And same thing with the drummer. Vocalist did move around a bit. So that's why I'm giving it a check. I do feel there could have been more done on that stage, but there was movement and motion. So I will give it a check. Stage interaction. Okay. I'm going to give it a check. There was some stage interaction. And the funny thing is, it was done between the lead female vocalist and the bass player. That was it. It's funny because you have 4 people up at the front. And how easy would it have been to interact with each other up at the front? But there was absolutely no effort put into it. Other than the vocalists looking at each other. But that was it. So many opportunities to interact with the 2 guitar players up at the front. And there was no effort put into that whatsoever, which kind of a bummer, especially considering the next part. Crowd interaction. Yeah, I'm going to give it a check. It's a little bit of a weak check. It was all done very casually. There was no it was all done within the context of theatrical delivery within the vocals. I couldn't tell who he was reaching out to. It was, I couldn't tell if it was reaching out to the crowd or out to it was always done with like an upward angle. It was never down to the crowd, looking at the crowd, engaging the crowd. If he had done that and done all those movements and motions to the crowd that was, right there, at a downward angle in front of him, that'd be a different story. But it was always going up. I don't know if there were people up. I didn't even notice that there was a balcony. Then maybe there was a balcony. I don't know, but I do feel like there could have been more attention given, especially given the circumstances of the song. Like when the lead female vocalist, she had her back to the crowd and was interacting with the bass player. Now it goes hand in hand, there's the crowd, there's the stage interaction. There it is right there. But what an opportunity that could have been if she had just done a 180 and faced the crowd and done that to the crowd. It would have been more effective from the standpoint of crowd interaction. I think that was a very strongly missed opportunity. Like I said, crowd interaction was there. It just wasn't very direct. It wasn't very obvious. It was done very casually. So I am giving it a check. It's a weak check, but it is getting the check. Showmanship. I guess I'll give it the check for, again, the theatric movements and motions of the lead vocalists. It was done, like I said, very casually. There wasn't really any real thought or effort put into it. I just feel like it was almost like a reflex. So I will give it to them. It was done, but it wasn't done with any, actual purpose or intent. It was just very casually done. Production? Nah, there was no production, but that's okay. I mean, look, production's always been bonus points anyway. It's not like, you need production. No, you don't. You don't need it. Unless you're a production-based band, then your production better be on point because that's your entire live show is production. So this is how we're coming up, like I said, from like the 6.4, 6.5 range up to a 6.7. I know that's not the biggest jump in score due to a live show, but hey, look on the bright side. At least the live show didn't hurt the score like we've seen from other reactions I've done on the channel. So at least it went up and didn't come down. So this is how I'm coming up with that 6.7. I feel good about that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 6.7, which is a pretty good skill rating, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B letter grade. That's B as in boy. Take your pick. I don't care. Whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.